started the induction process at July 1st at 9:30 p.m. It's now July 2nd. No, then I was at 3.5 centimeters dilated, 50% effaced. It is now 5:32 a.m. The doctor just brought my water at about 5:20 and I was 4 centimeters dilated. I'm definitely starting to feel the contractions. Hubby's over there sleeping if you hear him snoring in the background. I'm so hungry. Like this, and this was not planned. And I haven't eaten much in maybe 24 hours. So I am starving. I just can't wait for her to come out so I can eat. And we can hurry up and go home so I can see my baby. I miss Tiana so much. I'm so worried about her. This is the first time she's going to sleep without us. And I'm even scared to call and check up on her because I'm not sure if how she's going to feel. I don't want her to see me and then cry. She was crying, saying that she wanted to come to the hospital to see me, but of course she can't be here. And that broke her heart. So hopefully little miss decides to come out within the next 3 hours. I am also tired and hungry. I haven't slept, I haven't eaten. Let's see. Hey lovies, welcome back to my channel. As you can see by the title, in today's video I'll be telling you guys about my labor and delivery story. Very unplanned one, but if you have been following my journey, then you would have known what led up to this. So on Thursday, I believe it was the 1st, yeah, on Thursday, July 1st, I woke up. I was woken up by a call from my doctor. So they called me to come in because what they called me to come in for? My blood result did not come back in time, and they did not want to wait on delay the induction process anymore. So they called me in for a follow-up and checkup or whatever. When I went in, remind you, we live an hour away from my doctor's office, or 15 minutes, because we go to doctor in a different county. So when they called me, I had to just jump up, get ready, and get my toddler ready. My husband was at work, so I had to call him to come get us. He left work and he took us there. When we got there, because of COVID restrictions, still I was the only one who was able to go into the doctor's office. So got there, she checked me to see how far ahead I was dilated, and asked me a couple questions or whatnot, and I was dilated to 3.5 centimeters in less than 2 days. And I knew that was the case because I was feeling tons of pressure down there. It was getting harder for me to walk without feeling like something was going to pop out and everything. So I knew that I was being dilated way more, and it was even getting harder for me to get in and out of the bed. So she checked me, and that was that. And she said that she's not going to send me back home. She was going to call the hospital, because this was an emergency induction, call the hospital to find out if they have any available bed and whatnot to take me in that day. No, guys. So she did that. She came back and she said yes, I should go right ahead and go straight to the hospital. But mind you, I did not have my hospital bag. I did not have anything planned already, because I was not expecting to go to the hospital to give birth that day, and I was hungry. Had I known, guys, I wish somebody had told me or had done some research to tell me that when you're being induced, you should eat as much as you can before they stick that IV needle in you. Because I'm telling you, I only ate one single plantain that day, that morning before I head out, and I had to eat it in the car on my way out, because as I tell you, it was really quick. The doctor called me and she said I need to come in before they leave, because I was going to leave early, and because it was going to be a holiday weekend and whatnot. So I had to rush there to beat the traffic to make it to my appointment on time. So I had to just fry, I had just enough time to just fry one plantain and eat it with 2 slices of bread. That's it. That's all I had that entire almost 48-hour period. Sorry. So I had that in the car. Nobody told me that I should eat before I went to check in. So I wish somebody had told me that you should eat before the IV goes into you, because you're not going to be able to eat anything at all. And going into labor hungry is not a nice thing. Like, it's not a nice feeling. Like, I didn't have no strength to push at all because I was starving. But let's backtrack before I get to all of that. So when I got to the hospital to check in, my husband couldn't come up with me because we had a 3-year-old, and because of the COVID restrictions, they won't allow her to come in. They only allow your spouse. So he had to leave and come back home, find someone to keep our daughter, and grab my hospital bag and stuff. Thank God I had packed the hospital bag the night before, like literally the night before. I packed the hospital bag with nothing was washed. Our clothes wasn't washed or anything because we ran out of time. But thank God I did that. But so he left and I checked in because he couldn't come up with her and he couldn't leave her alone in the car because we wouldn't allow that anyways. So I went up, I checked in. There was a couple of the family there waiting before I did, so I think I waited maybe 2 hours before I was able to check in. So after they finally checked me in, I still had to wait to get a bed. Well, it wasn't really waiting to get a bed. I just had to do my COVID test, and then I had to wait to get the result before they sent me to a room. So because they had different protocols for people who tested positive and people who were not positive. So I did my COVID test and I was sitting in the lobby waiting, hungry as hell, bored because by now I'm the only one who's sitting in the lobby by myself. The COVID test, that was the first time I've ever done a COVID test. It wasn't, I had 2 nurses, they were so sweet, so kind, and of course I was being a child just trying to do the test because I heard weird stories, but it wasn't that bad. It only felt a little tickle. And then I waited maybe 2-3 hours more, and they came back and said my test was negative, and they sent me to a room. I went to the room. My husband was still not back yet. At this point, it was raining crazy. It was raining so hard, and if you're from the Germantown area, then you know when it rains on that path, it floods. So it was raining so bad that day, so he couldn't really drive fast, and I was hoping not to go into labor before he got there because I wasn't sure when he was going to get there. So he stopped and buy food for me because I felt like I wanted some fish. I wish he had them because I still couldn't. I had no idea that I wasn't going to be able to eat the food. So when he got there, I believe he got there after 10. But before I got out, I arrived at the hospital at 1 o'clock, and I got a bed at 8:30, in the night. So by now they were changing shifts by the time I got to bed. But I got a nice nurse. My nurses were sweet, my doctor was sweet. I had a really good experience. So I wasn't in any pain. Of course I was feeling contraction, but it was nothing that I couldn't handle. So I was walking, doing all of that. When the nurse was talking to me, she was trying to get my IV in. So she connected me up to the machine and everything, and she was trying to get my IV in, guys. They poked me like 6 times, and all my veins kept collapsing. I think that was it. They said my veins were so fine they kept moving or whatever. So this was one spot. Here is another spot. All the marks are still there, guys. Here, here, and right here. And they came on this hand, and I don't remember where exactly they put me. They put me twice on this hand. So they put me like 6 times. She had to call another nurse to come and see if she could get a vein. The last vein they put me in, that one was collapsing, but they still left it in and did it. That vein that they put the IV in, it was swollen for 2 to 3 weeks in pain. It was so horrible, guys, and all the marks are still there. If you guys know anything that I can use to get rid of these, please do tell me, because I'd love to know. Leave it in a comment down below. Anyway, so they finally got the needle in and was able to put the IV in. At this point, guys, I was starving. They got the IV in around 9:30. Around, baby's waking up around 9:30. It was horrible, guys. I was starving. I kept saying I'm hungry, like I was literally starving. A baby inside of me, haven't eaten all day. Do the math. So she still said, I can't eat, I can't eat, I can't eat. The only thing I can do is drink and eat ice. So I was drinking all this juice, drinking all this water, and still nothing. Like I was still starving. I could not wait to go into labor, but I was saying, Lord, please wait until my husband gets here before this baby comes. But as soon as he gets here, please just let this baby come out, because I need to eat. Because I said I couldn't eat anything until after the induction process. Hold on a second. So I got induced, finally got induced at 9:30. I think it was at 15 to 20%, and that didn't do much because that was moving real slow. I didn't really feel any pain or anything. I was still watching TV and chilling with my husband, but at this point he had come in at maybe 10 o'clock. Sorry guys. At this point he had come in maybe 10:30, and we were there chilling and chit-chatting and whatnot. Of course he was tired, so he had dozed off, and the nurse kept coming back and forth and doing her thing and whatnot. I was still there waiting and waiting. I wasn't in any much pain. She kept coming back and asking me how my pain level was, from 1 to 10. At this point I had told her it was maybe a 1 because I had only gained like 30 centimeter. So yeah, at 4 o'clock, at 4 o'clock, the doctor came back. So the doctor came in and the doctor checked me, and she wanted to check me to make sure that I was 3.5 centimeters. She said the doctor told her that I was 3.5 centimeters. It was a coworker because they worked together at the doctor's office that I went to. Hey. So she said it was 3.5, yes, and she told her to give me 15 to 20 percent of the induction food. The one they gave me was the one that tells my brain that to go into contraction and go into labor. So that's the one I got. I forgot the name of it. Yeah, so they gave me that. When she came back to check me, it was 4 in the morning and I was at 4 centimeters. So by then she burst my head water then. Hey. It took a while to get my head water to burst. It wasn't painful at all. but I just felt the thing up in there because it was really stubborn. She said, oh, you got a hard head water, stubborn one. But it finally burst, and that was that. Then she told her to up the dosage to 30%. When she did that, I still wasn't feeling any pain. And she kept saying, so how? Then she came in every 30 minutes or so. I can't remember. Alright, so it was every hour to check on me. I think it was every hour to check on me. And of course, you have the button to press in case you needed them. So she came to check on me. She checked it. She said I was at 6 centimeters an hour later. And she said, how much? No, first she asked me how was the pain. And I said the pain was maybe 4%. From 1 to 10, I said 4. That time it felt like it was 7, to be honest, but I didn't want to burden anybody. And of course, I pressed the button and called her because I said I'm in pain. When she left back, after she checked me, I said it was at 5 centimeters. Yeah, at 5 centimeters an hour later. And she left. No, I was in so much pain, like I couldn't bear. I called her back, and maybe 20 minutes after she left, I pressed the buzzer and I called her back, and she came in. She came in maybe 20 minutes after I called 15 to 20 minutes after I called her. And she said, how are you feeling? She said, how is the pain? I said, the pain is about 6. Because I said it was 4 last time, it's about 6 now. So she said, okay, I'm going to check you. She checked me and she said it was at 6 centimeters. So, of course, Mama. It was at 6 centimeters. Of course, she left, and maybe 20 to 30 minutes after, because I was looking at the contract and I was saying, when she came, I called her again. My husband said not to bother the nurses, and man, they get tired of me before they get tired of me and think that I'm just some baby and whatever. But I said no, because I know what I'm feeling. And at this point now, it was about 6 something. I called for the nurse, like I couldn't bear the pain no more. I was listening to my husband saying not to call them, but at this point I really couldn't bear the pain anymore. So I went ahead and I pressed the buzzer while he was dozing. And I called in for the nurse. She came maybe 15 minutes after I called her again, and she said, yes, Miss Thompson. And I told her how I was feeling, and she said, describe the pain from 1 to 10. I said, what did I tell you the last time? Because at this point I couldn't think, I couldn't do nothing. And she said, I think you said 7. So I said, okay, well at this point I think I'm at a 9. And she, of course, they bursted out laughing. Her and my husband bursted out laughing because of what I said. I didn't get to film everything, guys, because I started listening to music on my phone. My husband had left the camera, so I started listening to music on my phone. I was twisting and turning. I was calling for Jesus. I was calling for my mama, because the pain was unbearable at this point. And she asked me if I wanted the epidural, and I was like, no. I really didn't want any epidural. But she said, no, I said, tell me again about epidural, because I had signed a consent form for it, regardless of whether or not you're going to get it or not. They have you sign a consent form just in case when you're in labor and decide to change your mind, it'll be ready, they can just give it to you. So I did that when I got in. So I said to her, explain to me again about the epidural. So she said, for the first 30 minutes after you receive the epidural, you're still gonna feel pain. You're still gonna feel the contractions and everything, and you're gonna have to stick me in my spine. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And I said, for the first 30 minutes, I'm still gonna be in pain. I said, I don't think this baby's gonna last that long. So before I say give it to me, because I was really considering getting the epidural now, if I was going to be in labor for another 3, 4, or 5 hours, because at this point the pain was extremely unbearable. So I said, okay, then let me tell you this. Before I agreed for you to give me the epidural, check to see how far along I am before I decide, because if I'm going to be in pain for another 30 minutes after I get the shot before I don't feel anything, then I really need to know how far along I am. So she said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and test you. She went ahead and tested me, and she said, oh. I said, oh, what? She said, the baby head is right there. You are 10 centimeters and fully effaced. And 100% effaced. And I said, oh yeah, I know, because the only time I felt pain like this with my first daughter was when the baby was ready to come. Like, I couldn't bear it no more, because all along, even though I was feeling the contractions, feeling the pain, I kept saying that I was at 4, the pain was from 3 or 4 or whatnot, when really it was at a 7 or a 9. So she said, and she called in for the doctor right away, and she started prepping everything. No, before that and she came and she checked me and asked me about the epidural. She said she was gonna leave, and I said, don't leave, please don't leave. And she said, so I asked her, after they delivered me, I asked her, why didn't she leave? She said she knew that based on when I said don't leave, that the baby was going to come now. That was before she checked me, because she said based on her experience with all her clients, whenever they said don't leave the room, she know that they're ready and the baby is coming. So she started prepping everything, and then she called in for the doctor, and then of course she started prepping everything, checked me and said the baby head was right there. Then she called in for the doctor, and while she was waiting for the doctor, of course they were getting me prepped and everything. And another another nurse came in to assist her with the delivery, with the prepping process for the delivery. And this was the same nurse that helped me to do my COVID test, because I gave birth so fast, like the shift never changed. And at this point it was 6 something, because I gave birth at 7, I believe it was 7:20, 7:14. That's when I gave birth. And I pushed for like 4. My husband said it was maybe 5 times that I pushed, and then she was out. But yeah, like, she came really fast. But guys, I was so hungry and so tired, because I did not sleep due to the fact that I was in so much pain, and I did not sleep because I was so hungry. So I hadn't slept and hadn't eaten in over 24 hours, so I had no strength to push, like 0 strength. When the doctor said push, I gave him my all. Guys, I swear I did. But I had 0 strength, and I think that's what made me tore, because I got a second degree tear. And I think that's what really caused me to, because I really had no energy to push when they said to push. But I really wanted her to come out so I can eat. So I said, I just wanted to come out already so I can finally eat and be over with this pain. But I'm telling you, with the labor pain, the contraction, and the hunger pain combined, it is not a nice feeling. It is not a nice feeling. And when I took that final push, I felt and heard my coochie pop. I felt it and I heard it, and it was bad. It was a 2nd degree tear, and I still haven't healed from it. And it's been over 2 months, actually it's almost 3 months, and I'm still not healed from that tear. So yeah, so I still keep going back and forth to the doctor for that one tear. That's a story for another day. So yeah, that was it. She came at 7:14 p.m. a.m. in the morning. She weighed 5 pounds and 25 ounces. Like, she was really small. And she fed that same. Once I delivered her, they put her on my chest and I fed her. And she was feeding. Like, the next day when they checked her weight, she weighed 6 pounds, and somehow she's almost 7 pounds before we left the hospital. We left the hospital that Saturday, the following day, because I gave birth to her on the 2nd of July, and we left the hospital on the 3rd. The following day, I was supposed to stay in there until the 4th, but of course we didn't want to do that. No, we just wanted to be home with Tiana. So we came home on the 3rd. They cleared us to come home because I was fine and baby was fine. So we came home on the 3rd, and they really didn't want to let us leave the hospital because they were saying that she was born at 5 pounds and now she's almost 7 pounds in just 24 hours, because they said normally baby lose weight after birth. Yeah, but the pediatrician cleared her and everything was good. So yeah, that was it for my labor and delivery story. It wasn't that bad. It really wasn't. It was a fun experience. And a quick one, thank God. A really quick one, because she came so fast. From the point that they said I was 4 centimeters to the point where I was at 10 centimeter head out, it was less than 2 hours. It was really less than 2 hours. So she came really fast, thank God, as I said before, because I did not know how I would have gone through 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 hours of labor without that epidural. I'm just saying. I mean, I did it with Tiana, but she came quick too. So the Lord loves me, because I had wonderful pregnancies and wonderful deliveries. So I have to give the big man up high a thanks, because he did that for you, girl. Yeah, he did. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to leave a comment below. Bless you. Let me know your delivery story, and anything you want to share in the comments. Let's chat, okay? And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave a like and a comment. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next one.